Hey guys, in today's video we're going to talk about Zalama, the creator of the Super Dragon Balls, whose appearance will be revealed in Dragon Ball Daima. Since it was revealed that the Dragon Balls of the Makai world are the first and original ones, and for you to understand everything, first leave your like and also subscribe to the channel, and let's get started. Guys, in the 4th episode of Dragon Ball Daima, we had a very interesting speech by Glorio talking about the Dragon Balls where Goku wanted to know if they really existed in the Demon World. So Glorio explained everything he knew about the Dragon Balls of the Demon World, but he ended up calling them the original Dragon Balls, as if they were the first Dragon Balls to be created. With this, we can confirm that Zalama, the Dragon God, is in fact a demon who lived or may be living in the Demon World. You must be wondering why I'm saying this and why I believe it. Well, we know that Zalama is the first and only creator of the Super Dragon Balls that appeared in Dragon Ball Super, so if the Demon World Dragon Balls are the original Dragon Balls, then they were created by Zalama himself. If Zalama really created the Demon World Dragon Balls, there is a good chance that he will end up appearing in Dragon Ball Daima. Perhaps he will not appear in his original form, but rather with a different appearance so as not to reveal his divine appearance. Guys, I don't know if you remember, but I already made a video about this same subject some time ago, so for those who don't remember or haven't seen the video, follow me now. Throughout the canonical history of Dragon Ball, we have had many important characters, and some even mysterious ones that over time we end up discovering more about them. But among all these mysterious characters, there is one that is very important, and that was only introduced to us in Dragon Ball Super, and the character I am referring to is precisely Zalama. Zalama is a character that never really appeared in the anime or manga, and the only things we know about him were revealed by other characters like Zuno, who had his first appearance in the episode titled "To Meet Mr. Zuno, discover the whereabouts of the Super Dragon Balls," where Bulma and Jaco go after finding out about the Super Dragon Balls and their locations. For those who don't remember who this Zuno is, he is a character who is practically an omniscient being, knowing everything from the most important to the most trivial, as demonstrated when he talks about the size of Bulma's breasts, which used to be bigger but got smaller, even though it may seem a bit silly. This shows Zuno's vast knowledge about all things that exist both in the present and in the past, and I dare say that he even has knowledge about future events. Some may not remember, but Zuno appears again during the Goku Black Saga, where Zamasu goes after him in search of how to use the power of the Super Dragon Balls. In doing so, Zuno begins to talk about everything he knows about the Dragon Balls, including their origin. At that moment, he talks about Zalama, who was the creator of the Super Dragon Balls. According to him, the balls were created in the year 41 according to the divine calendar, and he was known as the Dragon God Zalama. As mentioned, Zalama is a divine being who had the ability to create 7 mystical spheres that together could summon a golden dragon so large that its size can be compared to the size of a galaxy. He has the incredible ability to grant any wish that comes to the mind of whoever summoned him. However, to summon such a being, it is necessary to know the language of the gods. For Zalama to establish this rule means that he knew how to speak the language of the gods, and this makes perfect sense. After all, Zalama himself is called the Dragon God, and he would not want a mortal to use the power of his creation. Now you must be wondering, why am I talking about Zalama and giving a summary of who he is? It's quite simple, guys. It's because I believe that he will make his official debut in Dragon Ball Daima. Some of you may think that I'm crazy or just talking nonsense, but watch the video until the end and I will show you that I'm not talking nonsense. We know that now in Dragon Ball Daima, more will be explored about the Makai world, which would be the world of demons, and that this world is in a separate dimension from the 12 universes that we know, and as such, this dimension is not affected by the events that occur in the 12 universes. We also know that the Makai world and the demons have some kind of history with the Namekians, and perhaps it is the world of origin of the Namekians before they abandoned that world and separated, going partly to the 6th universe and the other part to the 7th universe. What do they both have in common? The Namekians of both universes are capable of creating the Dragon Balls, and depending on the level of power of their creator, they will be stronger or weaker. Now that I've said that, who was the first being capable of creating the balls that contain a dragon with the ability to grant wishes? Exactly, Zalama. As I said before, Zalama does not have an official appearance, but we have a fan art that represents him that would be that of a Namekian, and it would make sense that he would be the first Namekian who ended up giving rise to his race that inherited his ability to create the Dragon Balls. But would Zalama really be a Namekian? I believe not. And the reason is very simple. Zalama is known as the Dragon God, and so I think he is actually a dragon that became a deity, or was a deity since his creation, and Zalama must have used his powers to end up giving rise to the Namekian race. But why would he create a whole new race? Maybe he did it to populate the Makai world, and Zalama would be in the Makai world because maybe he was banished there by Daishinkan because he was very strong and the high priest could fear his strength if he revolted against Zeno, and for that Daishinkan would have sent Zalama to the Makai world, and using his power he would have sealed that dimension, preventing Zalama from leaving it. So far we know that the Makai world has 3 worlds. One of them is being ruled by King Goma, the other is where Glorio came from, and the third we don't know anything about so far, but I believe that the last one is where Zalama is. You may be wondering why Zalama would still be in the Makai world if he was as powerful as I said, and using his powers he would be able to leave there easily. However, we know that to leave that world it is necessary to have the permission of a fish that opens a kind of breach between the dimensions, and perhaps this fish was created by Daishinkan to ensure that Zalama would stay in that dimension for all eternity. Now, why would Zalama have been sealed in the Makai world? For the simple reason that the Makai world is where Zalama himself came from, and to this day we do not know where the dragons come from. So I believe that all the dragons of desires have their origin in the Makai world, more precisely in the demonic world that we still do not have any information about. And that is why the dragons of desires and the Namekians are so connected, because they have their origins in the same world, and Zalama would be the creator of both species, and this would make sense as to why the Namekians can create spheres similar to Zalama's with the ability to summon the dragons of desires. I believe that in the last of the demon worlds that has not yet appeared is where Zalama is, and he may end up being the king of that place, that may end up being the sanctuary of the dragons where they live when they are not fulfilling wishes, and none of these dragons have ever revealed this because Zalama, using his powers, could block their memory about this specific subject, so none of them could reveal Zalama's whereabouts or the home of the wish dragons. Neva, the new Namekian that was introduced to us in Dragon Ball Daima, may be more important than you are thinking. And why do I say this? Let me explain to you. Neva is a Namekian who has just been introduced to us, and he comes from the Makai world thousands of years ago, being that he was the creator of the Dragon Balls of the demon world, and even the warriors responsible for protecting the balls that would be the Tamagamis were created by him to be the guardians of those Dragon Balls. And because of them, the Dragon Balls of the demon world have not been used for many years, which shows that they are very powerful warriors. In the first episode, Neva ended up demonstrating that he has unparalleled control and knowledge over the Dragon Balls, and even though they weren't the ones he created himself, he easily managed to gather all 7 Dragon Balls from planet Earth, and even managed to recharge them so they could be used at that moment, which shows that any type of Dragon Ball is similar even if created by other Namekians. Now, is this Neva just a Namekian with thousands of years of experience and knowledge about the Dragon Balls, or does he have something more? Why am I talking about him right now, since a short time ago I was talking about Zalama? So what could these two have in common? Come with me and I'll answer. I believe that Neva is an apprentice of Zalama himself. As I said before, Zalama may be sealed in the Makai world, and Neva, who is already thousands of years old, may have found Zalama and somehow been trained by him. Thanks to that, Neva is so powerful and knows so much about the Dragon Balls that he can master them so easily. But what if I tell you that there is an even more interesting possibility, and that is that Zalama has already appeared and you haven't even noticed yet? Because there is a possibility that Neva and Zalama are the same person. You may even find it unlikely, but Neva is already thousands of years old and has a very high knowledge about the Dragon Balls, and Zalama was the creator of the most powerful Dragon Balls presented to date. If the Dragon Balls from the demon world are more powerful than the Super Dragon Balls, then it would make sense after all. Both were made by the same individual who would now be disguising himself or pretending to be someone weak for some reason. But now I want to know from you guys, can Zalama and Neva be the same person? I want everyone to comment because I will be reading all the comments. And also, if you are new to the channel, subscribe and also leave your like. Bye.